Yo, what's up guys, it's Talon. Today I'm going to be showing you guys one of, if not the best tank counters in top lane right now, and that's going to be Camille. So I've just been trying to kind of find a good way or a good champion to play into certain tanks, because a lot of times, my champion pool, it's probably going to struggle the most into tanks, and so Camille really helps you kind of alleviate that. I used to play a lot of Camille jungle, so I'm already pretty decent at the champion, and then playing it top lane definitely made a lot of sense. And I thought I'd share with you guys, again, a good counter into things like Nasus, for example, like Ornn, like Garen. It's going to counter a lot of these tankier bruisers and these full tanks. And so the way you're going to want to play Camille is just like this in the lane phase. So you're going to see I'm going to play around my second ability and my passive auto attack, because if you auto attack someone with your passive up, which is the little bar that you can see going from yellow and then it'll turn orange when it builds up fully, if you play around that passive with your trading, then you have very, very good trades. But if you try to trade really long, you're going to start losing the trade. So you're trading around those, and then you're trading around your grasp as well as your true damage on your first ability. So you can see there how we find a nice little solo kill there, trading perfectly around our second first ability, the kick, trading around our second ability coming up, and trading around our passive and grasp as well. So you really have to trade really, really well around those cooldowns, and Camille will be a very strong laner. But you will find if you do decide to go in very frequently and try to take all ins when these things are not up, you're going to struggle a lot more. So you also want to trade around your bone plating as well, which brings me kind of to the runes. We're typically going grasp, we're going bone plating as our extra rune, and then we're going brutal, giant slayer, and legend alacrity. That's usually going to be the ideal rune combo, because usually you're picking Camille as a counter pick into tanks, which means you're going to want to build oftentimes Divine Sunder first item. You can go Trinity Force if they're a bit squishier, but I usually like Divine Sunder, and then again Sundered Sky second can be if they're more squishy, but if they're more tanky, then you're going to go for the Blade of the Rune King second, and then after that you'll go for like maybe Sterix. You'll maybe go for defensive tank items depending on the game. Just anything like that. So you can see here we found the nice solo kill onto that Nasus, and then later on we find the rotation, and because we are stronger already, we're able to as well get that kill onto Lilia. And so you can see I'm very strong winning this lane, and again, that's really, Camille is a very, very strong laner in terms of surviving lane, but she does struggle sometimes to kill on her own or to win lane really hard, because the shield and the second ability and everything, it allows her to very easily safely farm and play the game well. But she doesn't have the highest early game damage, and so you really want to play around that 1 and that 2 item power spike, and then obviously the later you go in the game, the stronger you get, because she's just a really good scaling tank counter and everything like that. But because we are into a weaker early game champion, and a lot of tanks are going to be weaker in the early game, we were able to get that solo kill again, trading around those passive, just the different cooldowns, the shield on your passive, the second ability, the first ability, as we said, and then bone plating. Trading around all those things, and grasp as well, is how you're going to win this lane phase. And now, because I'm very strong, I can start trading really hard around my second ability as well, and again my Q2, aka the first ability. So just whenever I can, I'm going to look for those trades. Don't ask what that third ability was, I just misclicked there, but it happens. And then here again we get the dash onto him, and then the third ability, and then we notice how when he all-ins me like that, I lose really hard. And this is kind of where the issue comes. I end up letting him find an all-in angle on me, and so I lose the trade really hard. Even though I'm ahead like 1,000 gold, and I'm in a very good spot right now, I was ahead of level at that time. Whenever a champion is able to all-in you like that, you're going to struggle. So you just really have to understand that. Again, notice how now I'm trading around my passive, and then I'm going to third ability out as soon as my passive wears off. When you're doing this, you're going to do very, very well. Another really nice thing about Camille is she has really good gank setup. So whenever you do get a gank from your teammate, your ultimate is going to be an amazing lockdown tool to try to help you survive that. And so you can see here, I just keep trying to sustain with my second ability healing, playing around my passive. Again, we get another trade on him with her passive. Notice how, again, I'm trading around the cooldowns, and then I immediately back off. I'm going to trade around, again, my second ability cooldown. I will miss it that time, and then because I know I'm just going to recall afterwards, I'm okay with taking some damage for the last hit, because I knew he didn't have his ultimate, I knew he didn't have Ignite, and so I was pretty fine. I get my Divine Sunderer, and then when you hit this 1 item power spike, which is going to be either Divine Sunderer or Trinity Force, you're going to find yourself being very, very strong. You're going to really be able to melt through these tanks, and you're just going to have a very easy time. And Divine Sunderer and Blade of the Rune King, they're only going to get better throughout the game as the enemy gain more HP. Especially into Heartsteel builders, these items are great, and you can just completely melt through the champions. Once you go into the middle part of the game, after the first dragon, you often want to stay on the side lane and continue to focus on getting yourself really strong. But you can look for rotations to try to help your team out in fights if you see a good opportunity. Really easy, either is going to be fine. It's going to be fine if you want to rotate. And then notice out here, he really tries to get the thing, So I decided to try to find it all in on him. He uses his ultimate, but because I am, very ahead of him, I do end up getting the solo kill on him. Lilia shows up, and so I end up dying to the Lilia. I believe. I don't remember 100% what happens, but I'm pretty sure, yeah, and then Pyke is here as well, so we do end up dying. You can even notice how much damage we get onto the Lilia, forcing out her flash as well. Just like absurd damage in a 1v3 where we solo kill our opponent and then nearly kill the Lilia, giving our team pressure to get the objective. And that's really what you can do so well. Again, you can have a lot of these 1v2 moments. You can have a lot of solo kills. Just really good champion in all of those kind of regards. And just overall, a very, like, probably one of the best top laners in the game right now. The only thing is she's not the most, perfect blind pick ever, because you might struggle into certain matchups like Renekton, for example. Renekton, I don't know why my voice is cracking so much, guys. Just deal with it. But Renekton definitely going to be a bit hard because he can break your passive shield and have the very good early game, especially on level 5. So a matchup like that might be a little bit difficult. But as a whole, I mean, Camille is a fine blind pick. Like, if you want to play a split pusher and you want to blind pick it, it's going to be fine. You're just going to have a lot of lane phases you're going to struggle to win. You will, again, you'll be able to go even or survive a lot of lanes, but it's going to be hard to hard win a lot of these lane phases. And that's really going to be kind of the weakness of Camille. But because of her amazing scaling and she has pretty good team fighting for a split pushing champion as well, with her ultimate and everything, good engage. So very versatile champ. So overall, like, if you're looking to one trick a champion, I think this is a pretty good one too. Again, I use it usually as a counter pick to tanks because in my opinion, that's kind of her best use. But you can see that damage on the Q2 as well with the true damage. That's really what you're playing around. That's why she counters tanks so well, is that true damage that she has. So whenever you're able to find that, you really want to go for that. And obviously I'm going to take a recall on my boots to make sure that I'm, quite tanky. And then we're going to go for the Blade of the Ruin King second here, because that, again, is just going to be the optimal kind of build into any really tanky champion like Nasus, like Ornn, Garen, any champ who is building Heartsteel. I know Nasus here is not building Heartsteel, but he's still very tanky just as a champion. And you're going to see me be able to melt through him as the game goes on. I mean, we've already been melting through him pretty well. And then we get a nice little amount of poke there as well on him. And for the maxing, you're going to go for second ability max, then first ability, and lastly, your third ability, if you guys are wondering. Again, notice how much damage we get on him. Force out his ultimate because he's really scared. And then again, we can just trade around our cooldowns like always. You see how we get the third ability on the wall there to then get the, mobility, go onto him, hit our second ability, hit our first ability, basically everything. Another cool thing about Camille too is you can actually play her jungle. I actually play her jungle a lot more than I play her top lane, but recently I've been counterpicking her again in top lane whenever I'm into these certain tank champions. But her jungle, she's quite strong as well. She has a bit slow clear speed, but can still play pretty fine there. So again, notice how here we're going to go for the little outplay there by going for the third ability, landing my first ability on him, and then killing afterwards. And then we get the all-in angle on him. So that's kind of a cool little neat thing you can do where you third ability onto the wall like that. You auto-attack him as your third ability is going. Then you third ability back onto him like I did there. You run out, find the all-in angle afterwards. So that's a bit of a unique kind of Camille trick there. You can also do things like third ability backwards and then first ability them and then walk away like with your third. It's kind of hard to explain. But I don't do it in this game, so it's kind of hard to show you guys. But there's some unique Camille tricks you can do when you become, really good with her. You become fancy with some of the plays and you can look for them. I get a bit greedy here, so I have to flash. Definitely shouldn't have done that, but it is what it is. And so now we just kind of stick around 1 HP because I thought, like, okay, I can at least push the wave. If the enemy get distracted, I'm just going to sneak a little turret. So they're just going to watch me take their turret as they're stuck there kind of taking damage. They should have probably kited to this turret. It would have been better by them, but instead they don't do that. And so now we end up finding a free kill onto the Nasus. Thank you, Nasus. And we're 5-1. Our team's doing really well. I've only had a couple of Camille top lane games recently, so I didn't have a lot of like great ones that weren't kind of sort of stomps. So I wanted to just show you guys, one where I'm doing well in lane phase and kind of talk about it instead of waiting for the perfect moment where it's like, really close in a tense game or whatever, because I don't play that much Camille. Again, I kind of counterpick her into tanks. So I had less options, but I think it's still a good one. I'm continuing to try to give you guys more videos on champions that can counter specific types of champions. So Camille to tanks, like I had a Xin Zhao video into ranged champions a while ago. Obviously, I'm telling you guys about a lot, like the best champs as well, like Syndra, Warwick, all these champions, whoever are the strongest champs in the game. I'm definitely trying like the Kai'Sa Lulu video as well. So let me know if you guys like me, providing you with a lot of like meta picks, or if you prefer more gameplay oriented things. So, like how to lane, how to, do X, Y, or Z. I mean, obviously, I'm going to give you guys, some of both because I want my videos to have variety and give you guys different types of things. But let me know if there's like a type of thing you prefer, or if there's a certain thing I haven't provided you guys with yet. You know, if you feel like I haven't given you a good counter to something, or if you want, you know, you have a certain champion in the meta that you want to know how to counter pretty well, those types of things I can try to provide to you guys. Again, notice how I'm just trading around my passives, even now in these trades, trading around my passive, around my first ability, all my cooldowns, and then I can use the first ability on a minion to then get my second first ability to come up quicker. So that's another nice thing here. Now we look for the solo kill here because I'm so far ahead of him that at this point, if I just keep playing around my first ability whenever it's up, ult him to dodge a little spell. Also make sure you're using your ultimate to dodge things when you can. We find the solo kill onto him there. Really, really good solo kill champion. And then Pyke, because he sucks, decides to ult me when I'm not dead yet. We juke him, and we somehow manage to kill the Pyke because he walks back into me here. Don't know why he did that. You know, Sovereign elo, believe it or not. I'm guessing that guy's probably Master, though I doubt he's Sovereign. I also like going for the Meteor enchant, usually after my second item, because if you ult someone and then you Meteor, it's guaranteed damage. They cannot dodge it. So that's a really nice thing. And then here I go for Twin Guard, but I believe I do go for Anti-Heal as well. If you're going for Anti-Heal, either go for Bramble Vest or Chem Punk. Generally, I prefer Bramble Vest as my Anti-Heal, but sometimes you just do Chem Punk just to get that extra damage, which is what I did here. And either of those are going to be fine for the Anti-Heal. Mortal Reminder is not going to be the best because of your like true damage. You already have like a lot of that. So the additional tankiness and the price of Chem Punk is going to make it a bit better for the damaging Executioner's Calling type of anti-heal, but also Bramble Vest is just going to make you tanky, and I'm usually going to prefer that if I can get it. So now we try to look for the Pyke here, see if we can do anything, or if we can ult someone else. We grab the kill onto the Pyke, then we end up going on to the Nasus as well, and getting the little double kill there. So now there's the Caitlyn under turret. I think I could probably just dive her if I just W flash, ultimate, meteor. You're going to see I kind of messed it up a little bit where I don't meteor right away. I meant to meteor earlier here, but I don't do it till later. And then he ends up making it out on 1 HP. And I also make it out on 1 HP. Then the minion almost kills me, but the minion does not quite kill me. So shout out to the minion for letting me live there. Appreciate it. And yeah, at this point, I mean, we're very strong. A good way to kind of, you know, continue to snowball the games is going to be to push out side lanes really well as, you know, the Camille, and then rotate to help your team, or just draw pressure on sides and go for solo kills and whatever. You're really going to be good in either way. Like, you can team fight well, you can side lane, so that's a nice thing. Again, pretty versatile. Because my Varus is already bot side, I'm going to go straight towards top instead. Another thing, too, if you are split pushing, make sure you split push opposite side of wherever the objective is spawned. Otherwise, you're going to, you know, have a lot of people collapsing on you, and it's probably not going to be the best, so that's just something to keep in mind as well. But because my team is all kind of on the wrong side of the map, I decide I need to stay on the Baron side so that the enemy can't sneak it or nothing. And then I end up going and just seeing if I can get a turret while my teammates are distracting them on the other side. So again, typically you're going to want to split push like where the Varus is right now. But because of the fact that they already went there, I'm like, okay, well, I'll just cover here and we'll be fine. You know, I can adjust when my teammates do things like that. And then I'm like, okay, now let me go over there. Hopefully my team can cover or whatever. That type of thing. So, yeah. And then here, Pyke, I believe I could just ult him and kill him, but I end up getting stunned. So I don't actually know if I do kill. I kind of forget. Nope, Pyke flashes out and then W's out. So we get his flash out, so I'm still pretty fine with that, but probably could have killed him there if we were able to dodge the stun. But at this point, you can just see the damage as well in fights, like if I'm able to even land one. Lilia damage is pretty absurd, though, and she's super fast. So that is unfortunate that Lilia is able to make it out. But either way, I mean, we killed 3 of them, so we're still pretty happy about the whole situation. But yeah, Lilia is kind of annoying with her stasis, but you also have your ultimate to really lock people down. So if you're against a highly mobile champion like Hecarim or Lilia, you can actually be pretty happy to play into them with your ultimate. Just lock them down, everything like that. You have your third ability to catch people out as well. A lot of mobility on this champion, really good damage. Again, the lane phase might be the weakest part of Camille, and her lane phase is still very safe and very consistent. So she's just overall really absurdly strong right now in the top lane. Definitely a solid pick. And it's one that I played for a long time in jungle. Like I said, it was kind of the reason I got Challenger the first time I got Challenger on jungle. Playing like only solo queue for Camille jungle. And we managed to get Challenger, like back when Challenger was the highest rank. And so my mechanics on her, they're a little washed, but like I still, you know, I'm still pretty good with the mechanics and everything of her. But like I said, I didn't really play her top lane that much. So some of the specific matchups I'm not as sure of, which is why for me it's a good counter pick into tanks, because, you know, those matchups are going to be pretty easy. But if I'm playing Camille into certain harder matchups, I might not do as well. And so now here I'm trying to back for Twin Guard. I think I'm probably safe if they come for me because I have ult. Third ability, flash, a lot of ways to escape. And so now I'm like, okay, we have 2 dragons. We want to try to go for the soul if possible. But my teammate ends up dying as I try to recall for my item, which is unfortunate. So now we're probably not going to be able to get to the objective. So we just need to try to see if we can find a fight or something instead. Because the fight really doesn't look to be going too well. So I'm just kind of trying to be patient, trying to see if I can ult the Lilia or anything like that, which we do end up finding the ult onto her. She eventually will stasis, as you can see here. And so now I'm trying to time my third ability, but I mess it up because I suck at the game. But it doesn't matter because Ari has got me. So thank you very much, Ari. Appreciate you. And at this point, we can just push some turrets now that the entire enemy are dead. So that's kind of where you can see the lockdown potential as well onto that Lilia. You know, we're able to just lock her down pretty nice and then go straight onto the turret here, get the turret, and then hopefully get the soul afterwards. Getting soul is obviously extremely valuable. I mean, it's, you know, generally speaking, dragons aren't that important, but what is important is denying 1 dragon from the enemy because the soul is actually the only really strong part. And so if you can deny the soul, or obviously get the soul yourself, you're going to be happy. But like, say each team had 1 dragon, I wouldn't really care about this 3rd dragon because it just doesn't matter. The stats that you get from an individual dragon, they're so minuscule. It only really matters if soul. And here we get Ocean Soul, which is going to be good, like if the enemy have a lot of poke or something. And then I think the enemy might try to go on Baron here, if I'm not mistaken, or it might be soon, because we are kind of too far on this side of the map. We obviously see them in mid, and then I think we see them going towards the Baron in a second here. And I try to ping my team. I'm like, hey guys, they're going on Baron. You know, we're all on the wrong side of the map. We got to make sure we're going there. And that's really something you need to have a lot of awareness of as a split pusher. So you see how I keep pinging them. Honestly, I don't think my team knows this if I don't ping them here. And so it's like obviously really good awareness to then collapse on them. Ari's a really good reset champ for killing people like this, but she immediately dies. We end up getting the kill on a couple of them here, and it just barely in time going onto them. So that's obviously really good. And then we end up killing them all. So the good awareness there gives us the final end where we might have otherwise thrown the game. So make sure you're always kind of thinking when you're on the other side of the map, where are the enemy? Could they be on the Baron? Other things like that. But as always, appreciate you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. I have memberships on my YouTube channel for $5 a month. They give you access to coaching notes and other cool things like that. Access to videos early and stuff like that. And then I do coaching for $15 an hour. So if you're interested in that, just DM me on Discord, Talon1169, or through the link in the description. And I'll see you guys in the next video.